Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today I got the Prelude behind me. I'm going to be tackling the trunk issue. The trunk issue finally is going to get dealt with, hopefully permanently. I don't know if this might just be like a long-term temporary solution. I'm planning on doing POR-15 to hopefully cover and eliminate the rust, and then doing, while I'm doing the POR-15, fiberglass cloth to seal up some of the holes. So I'll show you guys what the trunk looks like as of right now. There's some holes there. There's a big old hole right here. This is a factory hole here. This I don't believe is. And this side of the trunk is actually doing pretty good. So the main areas of concern are gonna be right there, down here, and then up there. Outside of that, guys, I'm gonna start by taking out all the sound deadening in here. So all of this is gonna have to come up. I honestly have no idea how long this is gonna take me. So I'll let you guys in on an update once I have a good chunk of this done, I suppose, or if not, all of the sound deadening out. Well, guys, it is the next day. I spent probably about 2.5 hours yesterday just pulling up all of the sound deadening. So where it's all light gray, you can tell is where the sound deadening was. Same with over here, I pulled all this up, and now we can really get a good look at the condition of this trunk. So beginning in the middle here is probably the worst, if not over here, that's really bad too. But right here is definitely bad, just because you're supposed to be able to hold the weight of a wheel here, and with this entire centerpiece being as rusted as it is, I'm not even confident that it would hold without falling through. Just start by next cleaning up this spot with a vacuum, getting all the excess pieces out, and then I'm gonna hit all of this with a drill and a wire brush bit, and then just kind of try and clean it up and get as much of this loose rust off as possible to then expose the metal that's underneath it. So I did a thing. The trunk's off, the bumper's off, all the taillights are off, all the moldings are off, and the Prelude is pretty bare naked in the back. But what that has allowed me to do is see the full extent of the rust going on in the back. This is the main reason I took the bumper off, was to expose the back side of this hole that you guys have seen in the trunk. So now we have full access to this, and obviously you can see it's pretty extensive. So I'm gonna have to pull away a lot of this, I don't even know, paint, to see what, yeah, it just keeps rusting underneath. So I'm gonna go ahead and start hitting all of this with a wire brush and sandpaper as needed to get the inside of this all cleaned up as far as the rust goes. And if you guys are doing this at home, please, please, please use like a respirator or some high quality mask, especially when you're using when you're getting to the step of hitting all the rust with a wire brush or anything like that. You don't want to be inhaling it. And then also we're going to be using POR-15 as well as some other stuff. So definitely good to have a mask. The better quality one you have, you know, the better it's just going to help you. So highly recommended. I'm going to go ahead and hit this, and I'll catch up with you guys when a good chunk of it's done. Welcome back. I think it's day 2 or day 3. I've lost track, but I've picked up all the supplies I need, and I've finished sanding out the trunk. It looks good, but it looks terrible. So let me show you. After sanding away everything, all the rust, there's definitely much wider and just more holes now. There's a lot of holes in this trunk. Next up, now that I've done all the rust removal, maybe to a little more extent than I even needed to, what we need to do now is hop over here to our POR-15 kit, which comes with some cleaner and degreaser. That's right, camera. Just go ahead and autofocus for me. Some cleaner and degreaser, followed up by some metal prep, followed up by the actual POR-15. So this stuff, you pretty much just spray on with a warm water 4-to-1 ratio, and just kind of, you know, do your thing, clean the metal, and then. And then you're gonna jump over to the metal prep, and this is basically gonna etch the metal so that way the POR-15 can stick well to it. So this you want to spray on and let it sit for about 20-30 minutes. And then finally we're gonna put a couple coats of the POR-15 on, and when we put the POR-15 on, we're also going to be filling the holes with some of this fiberglass cloth. So I have a bunch of this here. I'm gonna cut a bunch of like smaller strands up so that way they're ready to go to fill these holes. That way once I mix the POR-15, I can just basically hit this whole trunk and start layering and filling up these holes. So that's the plan, guys. I'll be honest, after doing this project, what this has taught me is that old cars have rust. Like, there's just in all sorts of corners on this car. I mean, I could literally chase rust on this thing forever and like still be finding more, like just pulling more and more parts off the car, taking more and more of the body seams off. Like, guys, one thing if your car has a lot of these body seams, that is where a bunch of my rust was hiding behind. Those body seams over time will shrink and crack and basically start to allow water in, and then it also traps the water underneath afterwards, so it rusts really quickly. So just trying to fix this as best as I can. This is like a super DIY project, but also very hard to film, Lots of stuff flying around the air. And honestly, it's just like with the POR-15, it's so time sensitive with the drying times and whatnot. I don't have time to be messing around with the camera, so I apologize. This is probably just gonna be like a put the camera down, pick it back up, this is what I've done, put the camera down, pick it back up, this is what I've done now. You guys get the idea. So I'll keep you guys as in tune with this as I can, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit the first step here, which is just cleaning the metal, and then I'll catch up with you guys when we're ready to etch it with step 2. Here's a quick look after step 1, which was using the wax and grease remover. So definitely looks super clean. I made sure I hit it and kept it soaked for about 20 minutes. I also hit the undersides of all of these holes because I'm also going to be hitting those with some POR-15 and some undercoating eventually. I'm just going to let this dry out a bit more, and then we'll move on to step 2, which is etching the metal. So I've gone ahead and cut up some fiberglass, just cloth ahead of time. The etcher is doing its thing right now, just letting it soak for 30 minutes. And then after this step, we're moving on to step 3, the POR-15. Woo! Been another day. I've let the coat of POR dry. I didn't get a second coat on because my can, I just ran out. So I went ahead, picked up more POR, but let me show you guys how the first can came out. So far, I'm pretty happy with it. The fiberglass stuck down really nice, so I didn't actually use any resin. I just used the POR to basically act as the resin, and it worked out phenomenally. So it's rock solid. Like I said, unfortunate thing is I wanted to get more coats on, and obviously more fiberglass coats on, but I ran out of the POR. So what I plan to do today is go back and scuff the POR up a little bit, so that way the next coat of POR I put on will stick nicely. And then I'm also at the same time gonna lay down some more fiberglass. But for the first time, guys, since I've owned this Prelude, I mean, technically, there's still light coming through, but there's no holes, you know? There's no holes in the trunk anymore. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. And the fact that it just looks nice and clean with this gloss black. It's great. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay down some more of this, and I feel like this video is drawn out now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just catch you guys up when I think I'm ready for my last step, which would be the undercoating. Now, all I gotta do is the undercoating. This is what it looks like, guys, after all of the fiberglass cloth has been laid, and all of actually 3 small cans of POR-15. So now I've just got to do some undercoating. I'm going to hit the inside here as well as the underside where I hit it with the POR-15. So that should finally wrap up this project. Okay guys, the time has finally come. It's been days, dude. I've felt so bad that I haven't uploaded a video, but this has literally taken me like a week to do this entire project. I'm happy to say it's finally done. I don't know like how permanent it'll be. I think eventually like the permanent solution would be to find another Prelude with a clean trunk. Cut it. That's it. Find another Prelude with a clean trunk. I'm just kidding. Find another Prelude with a clean trunk at least to be able to cut out and then weld into this one. But I don't know. For now, this will work. Let me pop the trunk for you. I will say this was pretty expensive. Between all the POR-15 I used as well as the undercoating, I'm probably like 75 bucks in on this trunk redo. But anyways, it came out pretty good. I did like 3 or more layers of fiberglass cloth on all the holes, and I think it came out pretty well. Followed up by like 2 or 3 coats of POR-15, and then lastly the undercoating. I think now you can see the undercoating texture a little bit better, but it looks 100 times better in here, and the fact that I cannot see the ground excites me so much. So that, I would say, is a mission accomplished. Imagine if the trunk closed like it was supposed to. And so with that being said, the trunk on the Prelude is like pretty much fixed for now. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Comment down below if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next one. Subscribe if you're new. Keep elevating. Adios.